One. Hello, you guys, and welcome to the Woman's Cave. You know what feels awfully odd today? There's room in the Woman's Cave. Woo! So much room! There's no Jade, just in case you didn't notice. No Jade. And she's not even going to, pop up and be behind the screen to audit, everything I say. I don't know what to do with all this freedom. I should do something nefarious. But considering that I do not have the ability to do anything nefarious, I think all of my abilities are used up on the fact of what the world is going nuts, and I'm like, how do I keep my sanity? And no, I'm not going to talk about that. Anyway, you guys, we wrote books. Yes. And so we have before I do that, because Jade's not here, I have to remember the literary life guides with pop poetry. There you go. High five to me. And not only have the social distance, because it's me. What? Oh, and I'm Winona. Oh, wait, another high five to me. Yes, I remembered. I feel like dancing. Anyway, first book, And I Thought Divorce Was Bad with Other Life Lessons. And yeah, I said the whole title. Can you believe it? I can't either. But it's an audiobook, and it's available on Amazon.com and BarnesandNoble.com. And then this And I Thought Being Grown Up Was Easy, and that also is an audiobook that'll be out in 3 weeks. And lastly, we have the Misfit Guides, and then we have one of our all poetry books, which is If Only I Were Me. And then last but not least, you guys, is this wonderful thing in the middle right here, which is the 25 Hottest Authors, Artists, and Advocates 2020 issue. Yes, it is a big monster of a magazine. So if your family is finally getting on your nerves, you just want to hide your face in something for a while, this is 196 pages long. Just pop on over to andwethought.com and pick it up for $7.50 digitally. If you want to be like, no, I'm going to get a print copy, that's $43.50. I would say digital. Save a tree. Save a tree and save your money. What? This is a win-win. Anyway, you're not here to hear about me and my rambling and watch me do this. Isn't that cool, though? I'm loving it. I did not know I could do this with my hair. Okay, let me stop. I'm messing up my hair. In the set. Look at that. Knocking on the books. You're not here to hear about me. You're here to hear about our wonderful guest. Wonderful guest, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes. Hi, my name is Ilana Levine, and I'm very happy to be here today as your wonderful guest. You are a wonderful host.
I thought that was going to take longer. I took a sip of water.
Go right ahead. You got to hydrate. That's the most important thing.
Yes. I'm sitting over here going, it's so hot in this studio. Cut the lights off. Anyway, let's get back to the point. So you are an actress? Did I read that right in your bio?
You did?
What do you do? Theater, film, TV?
So I do a lot of things. You and I connected because I have a podcast that focuses on interviewing artists from film and television and theater, sometimes literary artists as well, like yourself. But before I started my podcast, which is in its 4th year, my main career was acting. So I've done 4 Broadway shows. I've done a lot of TV. Maybe the thing I'm most known for is I did an episode of Seinfeld called The Contest, which is just one of its most popular episodes, and all the Law and Order shows because I live in New York and that's what you film here. Most recently, a film I did with Morgan Freeman and Diane Keaton, it was called 5 Steps Up. So, yeah, I've done a bunch of things, but Broadway and theater was always what I loved to go see as a kid. I grew up in New Jersey, so it was really easy to get to New York to see stuff. And then as a grown-up, I just started to pursue it. It wasn't like ever since I was little, I knew I wanted to be an actress. I was brought to an acting class that a friend of mine was going to right when I was starting college, actually, and I fell madly in love with that experience. And so I just started studying. And then because I was in college and hadn't declared a major yet, I thought, oh, I want to keep pursuing theater. And I was in college in New York, so I kept getting to see theater all the time and meet the artists who were making it. And then early on, I got a TV show, and it starred Cynthia Nixon, who it was right before Sex and the City began. So she would take me around to see all sorts of things because she had been, you know, a theater actress as a kid. And then I auditioned for a Broadway show, and somehow I got it. And that was my journey. And then a few years ago, I have kids now, and the theater schedule means you're never home 7 nights a week. And I found that it was harder and harder to be away from my family. And that was a moment where podcasts were first starting to happen. There weren't millions of them, there were thousands of them. And so I started interviewing really well-known friends of mine who I'd come up with, but they'd since become super famous. So early guests include Matthew Broderick and Octavia Spencer and John Slattery, who was on the show Mad Men, and the whole cast of Your Good Man, Charlie Brown, which was a show I had done on Broadway. So that's how I got started, just asking friends of mine to come on, and then it keeps going. And here I am. And now I'm on your show. That's the trajectory.
I'm just so excited about this. This is so nice.
Yes.
It's like having a real person come on and be like, no, this is how you do it, Bill.
I don't know. I think you're doing pretty great with 4 volumes of work that you wrote, and beautiful flowers next to you. You got this. And a partner. It's always nice to have someone to collaborate with.
Yeah, it is. It's quite lovely to have someone to collaborate with. You guys, she reminded me that just when she said 4 volumes, I didn't say what Jade normally said, so I got to rewind. So it's a little bit about me for a second. The Anti-Thought series is 13 books long. Okay, going forward. Okay, back to you. Okay, so you went from acting to podcasting. Do you miss the stage lights at all?
I've been able to do both. I just wasn't only doing plays. So when the coronavirus hit New York and they shut down Broadway and theater, I was actually in a play again with an actress named Margaret Colin, who was on a show called Gossip Girl that some of your followers may know. And that was a really incredible experience and an amazing play. And, it was so incredible to be back on stage. And it was such a big deal to find the thing that was going to bring me back, take me away from my family and husband, and be back on stage. And it was an incredible experience. And we had about 1 month left to the show when it shut down. So that was a very strange experience. As an artist, when there's a crisis, you're like on the front lines. There's the medical workers, and then as artists, you're there to like buoy spirits and tell the story in this art form. And it was so strange. I mean, after 9/11, I was right back on stage a few weeks later. Like when there was a hurricane, as soon as the theaters were open, it's like very much ingrained in our bodies and spirits and ethic to get back to work and figure out how to make people feel better or make sense of something that's going on. And it's been incredibly strange to be asked to stay home. That's how you can help us, stay home. And sort of counterintuitive if you're a performing artist. So yeah, that's what was happening. So it wasn't exclusively podcasting, but I did find that sharing stories of artists I admired and loved turned out to be as fulfilling as making the work myself, just shining a light on people who I thought were doing beautiful work creatively, were really philanthropic people and activists. And so there was joy in that. And as you know, in podcasting, it's all audio. So I could go to work in my pajamas and not worry about what I look like. And as a woman, a performer, there's a lot of pressure on what you look like. And so that was the joy of podcasting, like all audio and just telling a story without caring about what you look like.
So did you find that your acting skills, being the skills from the stage, actually translated well into podcasting? Getting people to sit down, feel comfortable with you, and answer the questions? Because you go into some nice, deep conversations.
I feel like it's funny. Yes, I think, first of all, people who are creative in general are curious, right? There's a kind of curiosity about other people in the world and things that are different from your own experience that you already gravitate to. And then I've been thinking a lot about that question, like why was there a skill set that was sort of simpatico between performing and podcasting? And I think when I play a character, there's so much research that goes into whether it's a person who actually lived or a character that was made up in the author's head, the playwright or screenwriter's head. It's my job to ask as many questions about that person, real or fictional. And so I think so much of the kind of journalistic skill set that I had learned over the years of acting in order to investigate a character I was playing lends itself really naturally to asking questions of a person I'm in the room with. So I think there's a lot of journalism involved in acting. So it wasn't.
Can you tell us? Oh, I'm sorry, I missed that last part.
No. So it was surprisingly an easy fit in some way.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Maybe I should try acting. But I don't think I'm cute enough, but that's okay.
I'm going to stop you there, and I disagree, but please keep going.
Anyway, well, I almost forgot my question. Oh no, this is embarrassing because you're like really good at podcasting, and I'm forgetting my question over here. Eesh.
No, but I do think like it really. You got it? Do you remember?
Yes, I do. I recall.
To me, can I just say one thing? I cannot tell you how many times that happens to me when I'm in conversation. Like you have it right here, and you're like, okay, when they're done, I have a perfect follow-up. And then they're done, and you're like, I got nothing. Nope. And then
I love it because I always have like 3 or 4 in my head, and then I'm like, no, that's not the one. That's not the one. And you go to pick out the one, you're like, I forgot that one now.
Yeah,
now I got to go to something.
But
I only had one. That was weird to lose that one. Okay, here we go. Question was very simple. That's probably why I forgot. Tell us the name of your podcast because you've been talking about it. You don't know a name.
It's called Little Known Facts with Ilana Levine.
Oh, thank you. So I have to ask because it is. Yeah, it is literally everywhere. And she looks so adorable, and you look so adorable on your page.
Oh, thank you.
Cool. And there's a picture of you sitting and talking. Oh, so cute. Anyway, moving on. That was so not as important as like the next thing, which is my narcissism, which is always important because a narcissist always believes they are. So I have to ask for the narcissist in me, when am I coming on the show? I'm joking. I don't plan on coming on the show.
You never know. You never know.
Oh, no. We're not famous enough for that show. But anyway, moving on past that, and Jade is normally here to say something and make a face so that it's actually a funny comic routine. And when you're the only narcissist in the room, it doesn't work. You need someone to be like, I told you not to ask. So I had to be like, I told you not to ask.
This is your one. Look, you get to do a one-woman show right now. This is your moment.
Oh, okay. So I'm going to tell y'all something that I probably shouldn't be telling you, but Jade's not here. I feel horrible today. It's like my sinuses are killing me, and I'm sitting here going, oh, my goodness, just don't sneeze. So, yeah, my one-woman show is a bit more energetic. If y'all follow me, you know this. But we're going to move on with this whole thing, because the show must go on, as you said. So have you found a way in Corona to actually try to still be on the front lines of the protests and, I shouldn't say the protests, of causes and keeping people's spirits buoyed? I believe it was once said that the poet or the artist is the conscience of a society. And although, the body gets sick, the conscience is still there. Have you been able to find a way to continue to be that conscious in society?
So this is a real, this video will live on YouTube forever, wherever, you end up sharing this. But for people who, aren't watching it in real time, we are in the moment of, George Floyd was murdered 11 days ago. And from that moment, there has been a cry and a demand and a protest and a coming together of people saying no more, no more. And as a white person in this moment, I have really tried to be very quiet and listen and be of service and support in any way I can. But it would be disingenuous to use my platform to share what I think about this moment. And so I very much tried and hope to make whether it's my social media or my podcast itself, a place for much smarter people to share what they think about it. And so I feel like I'm, you know, obviously I've recorded many episodes. I have many episodes that I kind of backlog because my guest schedules are what dictate when I do the podcast, and they're all very busy working actors. So when Corona happened and all of these famous actors were just sitting home, suddenly, you know, I had like 20 actors who were available. So I have a bunch of episodes in the can, as they say, but I am choosing very carefully because I want to just make sure that whatever I share right now, and every one of these artists, they're all remarkable people, but we are in a very specific moment where I just want to make sure that everything I put out into the world will bring joy or a kind of thoughtfulness or a call to activism that is sensitive to the moment that we're in. And this moment, by the way, if things go the way they should, is not just a moment. This movement is going to continue. And when one front line of protesters gets exhausted, backup comes, and we keep backing up everyone so they can know that even if they need to rest for a minute, don't worry. There's a next line of people who are going to come and take that place and stand up. So, you know, I live in New York City. We were devastated by Corona. The numbers were out of control. Most deaths in America happened in my city. I have a number of friends who passed away. I have a number of friends who were incredibly ill. So we're still recovering barely. We're still in that. Like we were, I don't know if this happens in Annapolis, but every night at 7 o'clock, we are screaming and cheering for the essential workers. That's become like a big communal way of showing respect to the people who couldn't just stay at home. And so now, just on the heels of that, when the numbers were, when the curve was flattened and maybe people's economic situation, which has been so dire, is just able to calm down, George Floyd happened. And now this city that's just recovering from one health crisis, what's been revealed is there's been a real virus of racism that, because we live in such an integrated city where there's people from everywhere all the time, everywhere you go, you get lulled into a false sense of equality. Because look, in my subway card, there's 20 Black people and 20 white people and 20 people, you know, Latina, like there's 20 trans people. Like you feel lulled into a sense of like, look at us, we're doing it. And then these moments uncover the truth, which is we're not doing it. We haven't done it. It doesn't feel good for many people in this country. They don't feel good. So this is such a long answer, but I'm just trying to listen and process and be an ally, but this has nothing to do with me, right? Like this is not mine to talk about how painful this is, right? This is mine to be an advocate and an ally and be quiet and just try to learn and see what my responsibility in all this is. Even though I think of myself as one way, am I? How has my white privilege revealed itself every single day in ways that I wasn't even thinking about it? So.
Okay, I think we're gonna go the opposite way because that's way too serious for the ladies. Like, it's like
a serious time.
I need to get the bouncy back now. We gotta get the bouncy back.
But it is a serious time in my city. You know, it's a serious time, and so I thank you for bringing some joy and smiles because there's not been a lot of that.
That is what we are here for bouncy fun. Anyway, so I'm happy to see that you've still been able to put out podcasts continuously.
Yeah.
And I noticed you have over 180
200.
episodes.
200 this week.
Woo!
Yes.
Champagne. I'm going to drink a bottle of champagne for you because I want to celebrate your achievement.
Thank
But if you
you.
watch the show, you know we celebrate just about anything.
I love that about you. And I'm sorry I went on for so long. I feel, cut it out. You can edit it all out if it was too off-brand for you.
It is perfectly fine, but you want to say we're here to listen. They're not here to hear about me. They're here to hear about you and your thoughts. I love what you said, that you put smarter people on your podcast, because that's just great, because it actually works with our tagline. But before we get to this, let's talk about happier days that are coming in the future. What are you going to do when this is all over and you're out of the house and we have this vaccine for corona? Like, what play are you auditioning for, like, right off Jump Street?
Well, here's the truth. That is not going to happen for at least a year, because until there's a vaccine, I don't know. Like, would you go see a play? Like, I don't know. Would you go into a movie theater? Like, when do you think you'd feel comfortable to, like, do that kind of stuff again? I don't know. It's weird. So I know I'm going to hug my mom. I don't know what audition I'm going to have, but I'm going to hug my mom. It has been really hard to not be able to do that. But that's my first, I'm going to do that, like, no matter what. I'm going to run to see her and hug her.
That is amazing. That's a wonderful thing to do. I think about that often, but I know I'm not hugging my mom because she passed away.
Yeah.
But as soon as I get out of here, I don't know.
You'll hug somebody.
But it's not about me, so I don't have to answer that question. Isn't that awesome?
Not.
And then I had this one last question that I had written down, but I didn't bring my notepad with me, so it's in my head. So is there any guest that you just wish you could have on your show just to pick their brain?
Mm-hmm.
And what would you ask them?
Michelle Obama.
Oh, wow. You just went ahead and shot for the stars.
you said, you know.
I know.
I picked dream guest.
Yes. That's amazing. What do you think the first question you would ask would be?
How are you? How are you? And then, you know, I feel like everything. First of all, her book was incredible. I thought, you know, for someone to have lived that life, to be so brilliant, but also to be able to share her story and make it so accessible for, you know, everybody. I just thought it was so honest. And the idea of going, okay, I'm out of that house. I'm going to tell you, now I can tell you, right? Like, incredible. I mean, that book was incredible. The way she lives her life, her ability to just be so herself, like just as a woman in her power, and to just be so generous with us. I just think she's a really special human being. I feel lucky that I live on the planet at the same time as Michelle Obama.
Well, I'm going to look forward to that interview, because I'm sure it'll happen for you.
I don't know.
You're probably like 3 phone calls away from that, making that happen. I'm sure of it.
I wonder. I'm going to think about that. Maybe you're right. Maybe I shouldn't discount it as pure fantasy.
Oh, no. When someone says what they want, then they immediately start working on getting it, is what I feel.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least you put it in the universe and it might just happen to pop up. So whichever way it goes, you'll probably have that guess. So can you tell everyone where to find out information about your podcast, where to find out more information about you, and possibly to see something that you have been in before?
So littleknownfactspodcast.com. That has every episode, that has photographs of the guests and the backstage world of making the podcast, and more about me as a host and actor. And then anywhere you listen, you know, to audio content, the podcast is there. So that's pretty easy. And then if you go to imdb.com, that has all my acting credits. And so you'll see if there's, you know, something I've been in and maybe you recognize it, or if there's something that you're interested in seeing, it'll just have the list, like a catalog of my work there.
This is one of me and Jade's favorite things to do. I think it's Jade and I. Because, you know, I'm supposed to use proper English because we write, but whatever. It's one of Jade and I. Jade and I, we love watching TV now and being like, oh my goodness, we know that person! Or like the other day we were watching something, we were like, oh, we know who wrote that. Oh, they did
That's
such a good job.
cool.
So you immediately shoot off an email like, amazing show, didn't even know you had it. So I'm going to be doing the same
Have
thing.
you guys been binge watching stuff during this stay home time? Are there like shows that you just devoured because you loved them? I'm looking for new stuff to watch, so I'm always curious if you have any suggestions.
Oh, I have suggestions, but this is being recorded still, so I don't give suggestions.
Okay, you'll email me what I should watch next.
So, like, I will definitely tell you as soon as I hit the stop recording.
I want to
let you know.
Thank you.
Oh, but wait. I can say one narcissist thing, which actually works for me, because Jade isn't here. Let me make sure. Nope, she's still not coming around the corner. Okay, so I've been watching my own show, Just Right in Life.
Good for you.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, honestly, y'all, you know I'm not binge watching that. It was hard enough shooting it. I'm not going to watch it again. Anyway, let's wrap this up. Tell us one more time where we can find that website.
Just go to littleknownfactspodcast.com.
Awesome. So you guys go right over there to Little Known Facts and listen to her podcast and possibly catch a movie or two that she's been in by going to her IMDb page. And I guess I have to wrap us up because I was about to be like, Jade, wrap us up, but, there's no one there. So I'm wrapping us up. And, yes, I'm going to do the sloppy job that I always do when it's a one-woman show. Hee-hee. Aren't y'all happy? I'm Ilona from the And I Thought ladies. You can go to andwethought.com and see what your ladies have been up to. Yeah, we haven't done as much binge watching because if you go to andwethought.com, there's a ton of new stuff.
Great.
So go there and then go to the ladies page tab and then come down to the middle of the page and you'll see the charities that we proudly support. We know that this time is a little hard on the pocket. We completely understand that you may not possibly be able to give money right now. So if you give some of your time or knowledge, like grant writing, or possibly if you're cleaning out the closet, you can possibly give some of those, like jeans or shirts away that you just can't fit anymore, or swear you're going to fit as soon as you finish dieting, but, y'all, it's isolation. Anyway, so you can send those to those charities. Remember that wisdom is all around you if you're open to finding it and accepting it. So peace and love, you guys, from Winona and the Missing Jade. Bye-bye.
Bye.